Hey guys, how's it going? It's Molly. I'm here today to film my favorite fall palettes for 2021. Now, some of these palettes came out in 2021, others did not. They're just ones that I maybe received in 2021, purchased in 2021, or they're just current favorites, current palettes that I personally love. Bananas has decided to join us today. So everybody say hello, Bananas. Hello, Bananas. Now, I filmed one of these videos either last year or the year before, and I know that there are like 2 repeats, possibly. Can't remember. I probably should have gone back and looked at that footage, but time is of the essence, and I didn't quite have enough of that. So I wanted to at least let you guys know the palettes that I have been turning to this fall season for my warm toned goodness on my eyeballs. Okay, so we're gonna start with drugstore. This is the LA Girl Keep It Playful eyeshadow palette. Now, I want to say there's 3 different color stories, and this one I thought was going to be more mauve, but it's really more like warm toned. They do have one that is straight up warm tones, like oranges and browns and really, really pretty. And I'm fighting the urge to pick that up. I don't need it at all. I also didn't need this one, but I got it, and I'm really glad that I have it. So you have, it's a 9-pan palette. You've got 4 mattes, 5 shimmers. These shimmers are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. They are so foiled. I've already swatched them, at least 4 of them. There they are. This is a color story where it's just, you're gonna get those timeless looks. It's just so pretty. The mattes blend out really, really nice. I will say it's not even a critique, it's just a fact. They're not as pigmented as some other mattes that I've tried. They're just not, and that's okay. Because you can build them up. And also sometimes with matte shadows, going in with something that is buildable is more optimal because it's easier to get that wash of color that lends to just a more day-to-day sort of comfortable look for me personally, and I think for a lot of makeup consumers. Now, sometimes I want a matte that is super pigmented right off the bat, but not always, especially when I'm working with like a transition shade. Like what am I trying to say? If it's a deepening up shade, like something that I'm putting on the outer V, I want that to be pigmented. This one has the shade here, and it's not terribly pigmented. It's not pigmented though either. And like I said, it is blendable. And there it is swatched. So, I mean, and that's I love that shade. That shade of brown, oh my God. Now I wish I had used this on my eyes today, but I didn't. Anyways, this one is absolutely beautiful. And price-wise, I want to say they're like $10. $9.99, $8.99, I'm not sure. It's less, $10 or less. The next one is this palette from Makeup Geek, and I cannot remember the color story, but the colors are Grandstand, Creme Brulee, Cheetah Bear, and Coffee Before Talkie. Now, my Grandstand, I dropped it the other night, and the square pan Grandstand broke, but luckily I had a round pan Grandstand. That's too much. In my singles. So I just plopped that sucker in, and it's the same thing. Because as you may recall, Makeup Geek changed their formula. Well, I think they did change their formula, although I can't tell a difference between the Grandstand square pan and the Grandstand round pan. But any whoosies. What do I want to say about this palette? I just freaking love it. I love it. This is the palette that I have on my eyes today. And first of all, can we just look at that shimmer? I don't know what to do with my hands, clearly. Hello. It is stunning. I have all of these shades on my eyes today. I've got Creme Brulee is this light one. I've got that as a transition shade. This shade I find to be very buildable. It looks like it ain't nothing, but it is something. Like that's what that shade is. Anyways, really, really pretty. Let's see, bottom left, Cheetah Bear. This I've got deepening up my crease and on my outer V a bit. And then I've got Coffee Before Talkie as my like outer V shade and Grandstand on my lid. This is one of my favorite looks. This is my, like, we're having family photos taken, done. I have any event, done. Like travel, done. These are so nice. And I feel in Makeup Geek, I don't know, I feel like they fell from grace. I don't know what happened with them, but like nobody talks about them anymore and I don't get it. But they're wonderful. Their shadows are phenomenal. I love them. I would love to get more of these. I know I have one other color story like this. And they've got lots of other quads on their website. I want to say the price is maybe slightly steep. Not really though. It's $14.99. I consider this drugstore because it was available at Target. In fact, I think that's where I purchased this, but I'm pretty sure now I feel like they've pulled out of Target. I could be wrong. Maybe they're on Target's website, but I don't see them in store anymore. So anyways, you can for sure get this at the Makeup Geek website, but I feel like I didn't really explain the formula well enough. As I mentioned with Creme Brulee, it's buildable. I would say all of these are buildable. The mattes are pigmented and creamy and blendable and beautiful. Yeah. And the shimmer is foiled. And just stunning. Definitely a favorite fall palette. You can't do a lot of looks, but you can do some and they are gorgeous. Okay, next, ColourPop Nude Mood. Here's the inside. So it's very similar color story to the Makeup Geek quad. And I don't know if I mentioned, I'm pretty sure this is called the Chocolates. I will try to remember to update down below in the description box if you're curious. My coffee pot is turning off. Okay, so this, I love it. I really, really love it. My only quasi complaint is that a couple of the mattes have the shimmer suspended in it. I can look past that though with this. Holy macaroni. I should probably wipe these swatches off my fingers before I go touching things. Sorry. Distraction is my middle name. There is one shade in here that I'm not crazy about, and it's this one here. It's like Wink Wink. It's really pretty, but it is also one of those Super Shock shadows that just don't quite work when it's in a palette. I don't know why, but this shade, Put On Airs and Lap of Luxe, these two shimmers, this one here and this one here, they're so gorgeous. Just incredible. So there's those two. Dude, use that really light shade. Wink Wink. Use Wink Wink on your inner corner, this on the lid and this like on the outer V. You've got a gorgeous freaking look. The mattes in here blend out really well. If I could change anything, like I said, it would be the shimmers suspended within the mattes. I just don't prefer that formula. But then also I'd get rid of this guy. I know a lot of people like have to have that bone shade in their palettes. I am not one of those people. I don't ever use that. If I feel the need to set down my primer, which sometimes I do. Sometimes, like, especially if it's a super pigmented matte formula that I'm going in with, I do want to set that down just to help it blend out a little bit better. But generally speaking, like if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to use my powder. You don't need to waste real estate in a palette. Realistically, and most people who are using eyeshadow palettes they probably own powder, and you can just use whatever powder you own. Anyways, these are gorgeous. I want to say $12. I can't remember. I bought it on sale as part of a set, and I am very happy that I have it. Okay, another ColourPop option. Now, I am going to be honest, I don't know if this is still available. I feel like it might be. If it's not, I feel like maybe it's coming back. I don't know. So if it's not available and you can't find it, try and find it on like Mercari or Poshmark because it is nice. This color story is such a beautiful color story. This is a colorful fall dream. This is the ColourPop Raw Beauty Christie collab. It's the At Forest Sight palette. First of all, this packaging. Can we just look at these cute little mushrooms? It is the cutest. I'm in love. Like, I want artwork on my walls with this aesthetic. I love it. Anyway, I have used nearly every shade in here except for Let It Rain. It's this matte black with like purple sparkles, which sounds gorgeous, but I just don't know that it's, maybe it's like red sparkle, copper. I don't know what it is, but I haven't used it. It just isn't something that I personally am drawn to. But everything else I've used and I have thoroughly enjoyed. This shade here, Emerald City, is such a beautiful matte green. I did a look yesterday where I used Chanterelle. These are all like mushroom names, I think. No, they're not. They're all like nature things. I don't know what that is. I think it's a kind of mushroom. Anyways, I used, this is my transition. I used West Coast on my lid as my shimmer. And I deepened up the outer V with Emerald City. It was gorgeous. I'm telling you, it was gorgeous. But the one thing that I'm not crazy about with this palette is that there's only 2 shimmers and I'm not crazy about either of them. So West Coast was really pretty on my eye. It's a nice gold and I think it pairs great with the green. So that's that one. And then the other one is Evergreen, which is actually fairly cool. So, okay, I take it back. I do like these shimmers. Typically I want more shimmers from my palette, but what I end up doing is I'll pull a shimmer from a different palette if one of these shimmers isn't calling to me. So anyways, true to form, this is a great palette. ColourPop does it, generally speaking, they do mattes really well. Their shimmers can be hit or miss, but that's a very matte heavy palette and the color story is beautiful and I really, really like it. Okay, next, let's go with Indie. Although, I mean, ColourPop and makeup, these have been indie palettes. Anyways, let's go with this guy. This is the Be Perfect Carnival Antidote palette. I did a 3 looks 1 palette video. It is massive. If you guys want swatches and more about this, I will link that video down below. And you can watch that there. But speechless, let's just talk about this color story. Okay, this is fall in a palette. I don't care who you are. This is what a fall color story looks like. You've got warm tones, you've got some purples, you've got greens, you've got neutrals. Like, yes, please. Thank you. I love it. I do love it. I will say the matte formula is maybe not my favorite. I can't speak. But the shimmers are to die for. They're just that beautiful, buttery, foiled shimmer, and I am here for it. The mattes, they're fine. There may be, some of them are somewhat patchy, but you can make them work. You just have to work a little harder at it. Sometimes that's a deal breaker for me. For this palette, for whatever reason, it is not. I think because the shimmers just make up for it so much. And yeah. I do love this. Next. Okay, next let's go with this Sigma Untamed. I feel like this one I might have mentioned last time, but I'm sorry. It's really just this quad right here. No, these 6 shades. Those make it a fall palette. Like, it's just gorgeous. They are so pigmented and beautiful. These, sometimes Sigma shimmers are maybe not the best, but I feel like with this palette specifically, They are very nice. They're pigmented and foiled and gorgeous for the most part. Sometimes their shimmers can just be very dry, but still pretty. And especially if you use like a glitter glue, then they're really, really nice. But, you know, sometimes we don't want to use a glitter glue. Okay, so there are those 4 shades swatched. Like this look specifically is just one of my favorites. I love it. I love it so much. Look at that. Look at that shine. And these mattes are honestly, Sigma mattes are one of my favorite formulas. They do mattes very, very well. Like I said, their shimmers can be hit or miss, but their mattes are so, so nice. And you know, you've got other options here too, like this blue and the purples. And you've got some just timeless, like this quad here is just that timeless, effortless look that you're gonna get. So I think this is a super versatile palette, but it does, in my opinion, lean fall toned. I do have a 3 looks 1 palette video of this as well that I will link down below if you guys are curious and want to see some of my looks with that. The next one I've got is this Natasha Genona palette. This is one of her 5-pan palettes. This is it's cranberry. It's the cranberry palette. I mean, hello. It's called cranberry. I mean, she's essentially saying, I'm a fall palette. And she is. She is super pretty. I don't know. Can you guys see how much I've used this? Look at those dips. I'm into it. I really like this palette a whole lot. And I don't have anything negative to say. The Natasha Denona formula is one of my absolute favorite formulas. Her shimmers, by and large, are what I want. Not always. Sometimes, like, I just picked up one of her 5-pan palettes and there was a shimmer in there that I was like, I don't think so. But for the most part, I get what I want out of Natasha Denona. So here is the palette. You've got your purples, your warm tones, and then you've also got these like icy shades that I think will transition well into winter if you're really into like seasonal makeup. So I do love it. The quality is there. The other thing that's nice about Natasha Denona is her pans are all removable. So you can mix and match and change things up, and that is really, really nice. So love this. Okay, and then the last one is another Natasha Denona palette. I'm pretty sure I talked about this one last time as well, but it's the Natasha Denona Bronze. Again, we've got mattes that just are beautiful. They blend great. They're pigmented, yet blendable, and at times buildable. Like the lighter shades, they build up on themselves. I do love that about her matte formula. And then there's 2 cream to powder formulas. These 2, I find them to be incredibly smooth and easy to work with. And these are for sure like fall shades. Oh, this one especially, like the lighter one, is super pretty. And I love it. Like they're not brown. These aren't brown shades. They're like plum. And I definitely think of that shade when I think of fall, a fall color story. And obviously these golds and bronzes and warm tones. So yeah, I do love me my Natasha Denona Bronze palette. It's great. Okay, you guys, so that's it for my picks for fall palettes for 2021. These are my favorites. These are the ones that I have been using that I enjoy. And as always, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up, subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.